right, good afternoon, and again, we give God the glory again for another opportunity to teach and develop young men. The game of football, also about the game of life through Jesus Christ. The positives from this last ball game, I got to first of all say fans were awesome. They were big time enthusiastic, had energy, definitely had an impact on our players, our coaches, and so we want to say on behalf of all our players and coaches, we want to thank the fans for their support. Also want to encourage everyone to bring at least one person to the game against Bryant, the fans that came this past week, and if they can all bring one more person to the game, it'll add even more energy to our game. Finished well in the fourth quarter. I thought that was very important that we talk about as our team, about finishing well in the fourth quarter. Our offense just scored 2 touchdowns and held them to 1 as far as our defensive side of the ball. And I thought we really finished the game like you want to finish it. Great ball security the last 2 games. On offense, special teams has been solid. I thought our defense has created 2 turnovers in the last ball game there. I thought that was huge in the game. So those are the positive things that occurred. Moving on down to Bryant, I think Marty Fine has been at Bryant for 11 years. Coached against him as far as an assistant coach when he was at Iowa State, when I was at Nebraska. Also the offensive coordinator, Steve Brickey, he was there at Iowa State during that time. So have ran into those guys a few times. Have coached against those guys a few times there too. Bryant has been Division I only since 2008. They have a solid program, and I know they've done a great job there. They're well coached, they're well disciplined. They got a lot of good, solid fundamentals that they've been taught, and you see them do it play after play. Their offense runs a pro-style offense, is what I call it. When I say pro-style, I'm really talking about they underneath the center. They also go in the shotgun a little bit, but they're primarily underneath the center and running their offense and run a lot of 2-back. But they do spread it out some and do different variations of their offense. Defense is a 3-4 scheme. I guess all you need to say is, hey, they're 6th in the country. They only have given up 10 points a game. And that's all you need to say is know that they got a very good defense when you're doing that. Added to that, statistically, their third down conversions, their percentage on their defense is only 20% of the time. That offenses are converting on 3rd down, and that is outstanding. They only allow 20% of the time on 3rd down that you're converting. Special teams, kickoff return, they are 3rd in the country in 30 yards per return. So we got to make sure our kick coverage is going to be outstanding against this football team. The injury report, Long is out. Kenny Scott is full go. Will Johnson is out. Nick Falau is suspended indefinitely to all football and any activities at this time until further notice, and that is due to violating team policy. Keys to winning the football game. We must win the turnover margin. That's going to be a huge thing. Again, they've done a good job there in their turnover margin. The other thing is we got to win the special teams. That's going to be a huge plays in the game. That's going to turn the tide one way or the other, plus or minus for us. Then also we got to win the 3rd down conversion. As I've already stated earlier about how they are on 3rd down. I mean, their defense, they don't allow you to convert on 3rd downs. And we've been, I guess the best case scenario is saying we've been okay. We got to improve in that area on the 3rd down. So those are the 3 keys that I think are very important in this game. They're always these 3 keys, but I think particularly on the 3rd down conversion part of it, I think it all goes back to also on 1st down. If you get a lot of positive things on 1st down, then you're going to have a more opportunity to be more successful on 3rd down conversions. Open up to some questions.
When you look at Bryant's defensive line, what sticks out?
Oh, they got very sound on the fundamentals. They protect their gaps. They have 2 particularly young men that I think got some talent. Can't remember all the specific names of them there. I know it's 77 on one and 51 on the other, the 3-4 technique. So they both play the 5 technique or the 4 technique in their scheme. 77. He plays 3 technique. He plays nose. He plays a little bit everywhere. I would probably say he's maybe their best defensive lineman. Number 77, probably 6'2", 6'3", 255 pounds. The other young man there's about 6'2" to 6'3", probably 230 pounds. But again, their defense is just sound. They get to the ball, they tackle well. There's nobody out of place, so you got to earn your yards, and that's what they have done, and very much so in the first beginning of the games, or beginning of the season. Teams have been very difficult as far as being able to move the ball consistently up and down the field.
They're top 5 in sacks as well in the country. Are they blitzing a lot with a 3-man front? How are they getting to the quarterback?
I wouldn't say they're a big blitzing team. They blitz a little bit. Again, I get people one-on-one, and certain people, the personnel, have better talent, and they've been able to beat some of the tackles and beat some of the defense or guards and tight ends and those kind of things on some blocks. So, again, they're a good, solid football team all the way around.
How concerned are you about your depth at the fullback position now, and also what did Thomas Kennedy do to impress you Saturday?
Kennedy was solid, probably was a little bit more impressive than I may anticipated. He didn't really have any glaring mistakes. That's huge as far as not having missed assignments. So I thought he did some good things on his blocking. He finished some blocks. There's still a few little things here and there. It's only his first ball game, so I think, like I said, overall he played outstanding. So, again, he's going to have the brunt of it. We'll find out what we're going to do. A couple other people that we're going to try out this week and see where they place as far as behind our fullback position.
You said on Saturday you wanted to look at the film and see what went wrong with John's kick. Was it the hold? Was it just the kick? Did
Just
you
missed the
push
kick.
it? Just pushed it?
Simple as that.
Okay. Talking to Coach Taylor before the season started, one of the things he said with Darren is he wanted to see him learn how to dominate his position. Are you starting to see that with him in these last couple of weeks, just in terms of just getting open and being a real athletic force here?
Yeah, he has the skill. I think there's still some definition that he needs to clear up as far as the top of his route, coming out of the break, as far as what I'm speaking to there. And what I mean a little bit more specific is saying sometimes the dropping his hands, letting the defense know when he's going to make his break. Needs to come out of his break a little bit quicker. Again, he's done some great things on some other routes. Again, we might be a little bit too particular on things, but that's part of us, a high expectation of trying to get him to be the best receiver in the country, not necessarily just the best receiver on our football team. And so he's taken that all in. He's improved. He works hard. So therefore, I will see him continue to improve in all those areas.
Coach, you guys are ranked for the first time in 3 seasons. Is there any significance to that entering week 4?
Oh, I think a couple of significance, I guess, is the exposure for our university, exposure for the Big South Conference. I think those two things are very, very good as far as getting recognition for the Big South Conference of our play and the competition that we have and teams that are very, very competitive and being able to get exposure as we move along in the season, knowing that the Big South Conference has very good teams in their conference. And it's good for our university to continue to get national exposure across the country.
Follow up on that, Bryant's ranked as well. Does it? I don't know if you needed any help, grabbing your team's attention with them this week, but does it help a little bit in terms of just the awareness and just getting hyped for this game?
I don't. We're all going to be ready to play no matter what. I think in some sense, offensively, we want to see consistency as far as us moving the football. So no matter who the opponent is, it makes it a little bit more exciting just because of offense to their defense, as they got a very good defense. Are we going to be able to do things more than what other teams have been able to do here so far this year? And then from our defensive side of the ball, obviously it's not quite the performance that we were hoping for in our last ball game. So in special teams, obviously it's in John Lunsford being improved, and some other areas too as far as our special teams. So we got a lot of things to improve on. So no matter who the opponent was going to be, our guys know that we got a lot of work to do and a lot of things we need to improve on. And so it's a great opportunity for us to play in front of our home crowd and show them what type of team that we do have.
What kind of things can you learn going forward defensively about from last week? I know that you guys didn't, change up the scheme and the terminology and all that stuff, but at the same time, you're going to see Charleston Southern's got some option principles that they throw at you. Is that something you can learn something from last week's game?
Oh, we're always going to learn something from every game. I can tell you that, whereas offense, defense, special teams, even when the offense, you can sit there and say they had a good day, we can still learn from that. I think we just learn from us as we move forward. Other teams that we may play that may be similar offense, making some other serious adjustments to improve our defense against those type of offenses. So we got to plan ahead if we face somebody in the future.
Coach Fine was saying on, I guess, their coaches show yesterday that he seems to be a little concerned about the short week. He's going to kind of keep things a little more simple base, I guess, as far as their attack. Does that benefit you guys at all with them coming around the short week and just in terms of how you guys prepare?
They do what they do. I don't know if there's a whole lot of things that they going to change up. Again, they're gonna run what they run, offense and defensive scheme wise. I think they did change a little bit from last year to this year. They had a 4-3 last year. Now they changed to a 3-4. But they've already shown that here in the first 3 ball games. So, I don't know what that helps or hurt us in either way. Again, we're going to go by what we see on the tape. We're going to prepare for that. And, again, we always got to make some adjustments. There's always every team maybe does something a little different during a ball game, and we got to make adjustments. But we're well prepared. We'll be ready to go.
Going back to Darren a little bit. Is that the biggest thing for a guy that has a good year as a sophomore to trying to make that leap is just adjusting the fine little details of his game at this point?
Well, absolutely. It's detail. Every position has a lot of details. There's no question about that. And then for a receiver, and then I think also a little bit because of him being 6'2" to 6'3", coming out of your break, sometimes you don't really be as smooth as sometimes as a shorter person. So that's just kind of part of it, being a taller person and a wide receiver, to fine-tune those routes and being able to catch the hands with your hands no matter where the ball's at. Again, he's a very good receiver. And again, he's talking about he wants to be the best that there is around, and so we're just kind of making sure we escalate him and all those things. And he's taking all the coaching and the teaching. But I think every receiver, that's usually maybe one of the tougher things is when you're coming out of your break, whether you're running an out route, whether you're running an in route or slants and those kind of things. Or you're chopping your feet, or you're elongating your strides, or you actually keep everything in stride when you're making all your cuts, so you're not televising when you're making your cuts at 12 yards, 10 yards, 18 yards, or whatever the distance may be.
Coach, we're doing a kind of off-the-wall story this week on how players prepare for a game with their uniforms and what they – not just the jersey or the helmet or the pants, but some guys look in the mirror and see if they look good. How have things changed since you played as far as the uniform and what players go through to feel good, they play good, and so forth?
Well, I sit there, be honest with you, I don't really look and see what they do during their time period in preparation, but you kind of hear about certain things, and everybody kind of has their own little way to prepare themselves. And whatever it takes for them to want to play well and do well, that's all that matters to me, as long as it's not too out of hand and being respectful of the people around you. So, again, everybody has all that. They play that same music, that song, or they put on their sock at the same time for the game and sit in the right seat and the chairs fitting the right way, or all those kind of things. So I know everybody has their own different way, and we just want them to be respectful to each other. So as long as they can do it and come out here and perform and be productive on the field, that's all that matters.